Hey, how's it going everyone? Teysind here, and today I wanted to talk about, did you ever used to rent or hire video games? This is something that came to my mind because recently, at least at the time of this recording, I picked up a game that I've never owned, but I've always wanted to own, and that's because as a child I used to rent it from the video game store, and all these years later, probably at least 15 or maybe, yeah, 15 years later, even more, that I'm finally getting this game. And then it's really funny because in my last video, Spiller actually sent me a message regarding, do you get or purchase or pre-order consoles at launch, and he was saying that he got the 64 at launch with Super Mario 64, but because games were so expensive, he used to hire games, and I thought this is definitely the perfect time to obviously talk about hiring and renting video games. And obviously because that's something that, it's an avenue that doesn't really exist anymore. When I say doesn't really, I know there are, at least in North America, I believe there's some sites where you can actually pay and you rent games and they're posted to you and stuff, I believe. We don't really have that in Australia, at least not that I'm aware of. So obviously in talking about renting and hiring, it can mean that too. So do you still rent or hire? But from my experiences and perspectives, I'm talking about whether I used to. And yes, I did. I used to love renting video games. And that was obviously because growing up as a child, I had the N64, PS1 and stuff. I didn't have any money to buy these games, and my parents also didn't have much money to just go out and purchase all these games, especially when they purchased the consoles for me. So what they used to do is we used to go to our local video store. It was called Video Easy, and that is where I used to hire, rent games out and stuff, or my parents did for me. So I've got a couple of games with me that I actually originally hired, that I now own. And starting off, and that is the Spyro series. So here's Spyro 1. Here's Spyro 2. And the third game, or the game that I was telling you about that I recently picked up, I'm still waiting for it, it's being posted to me, is actually Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon. So now I can finally say, well, I finally have all the Spyro games, or at least the three Spyro PS1 games, because I know then they came out PS2 sequels, and then they went to the Legend of Spyro series. This is really cool because I grew up loving these games, and I was so happy to find this, maybe 5-6 years ago at a Game Traders, and this is when Game Traders was sort of still around, and I started disappearing, and I got it for 30 Australian dollars, maybe 35 Australian dollars. Again, that's not the cheapest, but compared to how much I see this game sell for here, it's quite good. And then I caught Cash Converse slipping when I managed to find the Platinum Edition of Spyro 2 for $4 Australian. So that's about $3 US, and I was stoked because we generally don't get games for these prices in Australia, even second hand. The gaming market is a lot smaller, and I'd say there's a lot more, I wouldn't know if I'd say resellers or scalpers, but really expensive prices. But moving on, this next game is really close to my heart. That is the first Final Fantasy game I ever played, Final Fantasy VIII. I actually discovered this game through the video store. So I remember one day, I think I mentioned this in a previous video, I was at a friend's house and his brother put in Final Fantasy VIII, and I remember seeing the opening cinematic, and there was this real what would I say, not nostalgic feeling, deja vu feeling that I had seen this game somewhere before. And I remembered, I believe it was actually at the video store, I saw the game just on display, and obviously they've got some images of the opening cinematic and stuff. And maybe they also had, with the TVs and stuff, with trailers and stuff rolling, they had this game sort of trailered and something like that, like the trailer going. But, it's from these experiences that I then ended up getting games, and, this being the first Final Fantasy game I owned, because I just had to own it after that. And, then going on from there into this whole massive sort of genre of JRPGs and stuff, which it originally began with Pokemon, but Final Fantasy VIII was the first one that captured me into at least console RPGs and stuff like that. And there are so many other games I remember sort of renting and playing that I still don't have. So I remember one memorable one was Ape Escape, the original PS1. Love that game. Gran Turismo 2. So I've never really played any racing games, besides kart racing games like Mario Kart and Crash Team Racing, since Gran Turismo 2. And this game, I did everything you could in it. I would get all the best cars and everything, and win every race. And that is a game I still want to get. If someone were like, what Gran Turismo game would you want, and the latest one I could even choose from, I would still say Gran Turismo 2, and I think I still have my save file and stuff, so that'd be awesome to get. I've seen Gran Turismo 2 quite cheap, but for some reason I just haven't gotten it. I think because it's somewhere online, so I need to get posted to me. And I'm not too comfortable with these sort of cases, because Gran Turismo, or even just PlayStation cases in general, but Gran Turismo 2 is this sort of bigger case. And, these cases do get cracked and stuff, so I'd like to pick one up in the wild. And let's just think of other games. Jackie Chan Stunt Master, if you've ever played that game, let me know, because I've never met anyone else who's played it, at least not from my childhood at the time. I remember one childhood friend, we used to do karate together, and he actually played Jackie Chan Stunt Master, so that's what we used to talk about when we went to karate. We didn't go to, I think there was this phase where we weren't go to karate, do karate. We just wanted to talk about, Jackie Chan, all the games we were playing at the time. We used to watch all the Jackie Chan movies and stuff like that. Oh, gosh, that's bringing back memories. But let's think of some other games. James Bond, The World Is Not Enough, because our video store, I can't recall if you could, I think you could rent 64 games. Actually, you could, but most of them were CD games rented, and that's why, there was no GoldenEye on PS1 or anything, but The World Not Enough was on PS1. But I used to rent, I'm just trying to think, did I rent? Actually, no, I don't think I did ever rent 64 games. No. It's funny now, because I'm doing these videos actually making me think back to things that I haven't necessarily thought of in such a long time. No, I didn't. I didn't rent 64 games. I'm pretty sure it was just CD-based games that they had. I'm just trying to think what other games that I used to rent. I know, I do know I have I remember I had a list of games that I rented, because I used to have cheat sheets and stuff for that. Oh, yeah, talk about Crash Bandicoot and stuff. So Crash Team Racing, stuff like that. Some of the original Crash Bandicoot games, because I think I owned one of it. I owned number 3. I did own 2 at one time, and then I gifted that to my cousin. But I remember, other Crash Bandicoot games. Maybe it was the first one that I used to rent, and definitely know I rented Crash Team Racing. I played that a lot with friends. I love playing the multiplayer in games like that. That's something else I miss, just saw the local multiplayer that we had in those games. But without going too much off topic, let me know your thoughts or memories and experiences of renting video games, if you ever did, going from, not just where you rented the games, but what games you rented. Did you ever pick any up those games? Or are there any games that you did play as a child through renting that you still don't have and you want to get? Like I said, I finally got Spyro Year of the Dragon, got it for a really good price, because that's another very expensive game here in Australia. Maybe it is quite expensive overseas, I'm not too sure. There are other games that you still don't have, like I was saying, Ape Escape. I still really want to get that game on PS1. That'd be awesome to get and play through again. And, like I was saying, Gran Turismo 2, a game that I beat through. And, when I think about it, I wonder how much my parents did spend on renting these games, and whether it would have worked out to actually just, get one of those games. But then when I think about it, we were renting a variety of different games, so that maybe that would have cost the amount of one game, but it opened me up to sort of more diverse genres and games. And like I said, even today I'm here with games like the original Spyro, Final Fantasy 8, now I've got God knows how many other Final Fantasy games and stuff like that, all just because my parents maybe spent $5 just to rent it out for me once. So thank you so much, Mum and Dad. It's awesome. So anyways, yeah, let me know your thoughts below. And thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sharing, subscribing. And until next video, stay spot on.